everyone. I'm Faris Hilmi, your lecturer for today's class. Today we're gonna learn lesson number 1 in the Environmental Science 1. So I hope you are not in the wrong course. So what is environmental science? In the environmental science, we will learn all about environment and then we will learn about how to collaborate the ideas about environment and the built environment, everything about environment that we live in. So what is environment? Environment is the surrounding or conditions in which a person, animal, or plants lives or operate. Elements of environment. There are a few types of elements. They are earth, air, water, flora and fauna. These are flora means vegetation, trees and all kinds that are similar to them. And then fauna are the animals that are considered all kinds of animals from zero legs to many legs and that lives on earth or in the water. And then the energy and natural resources. What are the energy and natural resources? These are the example like wave, fire, wind, and so on. So these are energy that comes from natural resources. Next would be ecology. It is the branch of biology that deals with the relations of organisms to one another and to their physical surroundings. Next would be the biosphere, which is the bigger context. It is the regions of surface and atmosphere of the Earth or another planet occupied by living organisms. It is also known as global ecosystem. However, we only learn about the environments on the Earth. We are not discussing about other planets. Ecosystem, a biological community of interacting organisms in their physical environment. This is the example is for this photo where there is a fish live in the water that interacting with the trees or plants here. For example, the plants that shown here is mangrove plants. You can see that how the mangrove trees are live in this area. They have a very long roots that are crowding the area inside the water. Means that fishes and all other small animals can live in a protective area within uh, the roots of the mangrove trees. At the same time, mangrove trees also will benefit from the water and the soil and many things from the the inside the water and also the soil that the plant live in. So they are benefiting each other. Alright, so what are the components of ecosystem? There are two things that we can start to divide. Number one is abiotic, non-living, and biotic, which is the living things. Okay, let's go one by one. For the abiotic, non-living components, there are two types of components, which are physical components and chemical components. Physical components, there are four things that we must remember: the sun, the water, the air, and the earth. And then there is another component which is chemical component under abiotic living, abiotic non-living component. There are only one thing, which is mineral. What are the example of minerals? Minerals, they are simple and some of them are complex. For example, calcium or salt or magnesium and so many things that are benefiting to whom? Yes, benefiting to all living things. It doesn't matter whether it is human or animal or even plants. Alright, so what about the other part of ecosystem? The biotic, the living things. Okay, from these living things, there are three components that we must know. They are producers, consumers, and also decomposers. Okay, so for all these, they are same things. They are herbivores, carnivores, omnivores, and detrivores. I believe you all know what are these kinds of wars that I'm talking about. Herbivores means animals that only eat plants. Carnivores, the animal that only eat other animal. Omnivores is the animals that eat both either herbivore, either plants or other animals. And then detrivores is the composers that only um, eat decomposing materials. It can be uh, rotten things uh, like making it become more fertilized. All right. Example like worms, they eat all other things inside the earth, and then it will excrete the minerals for plants to absorb. So that's why decomposers also important in ecosystem. Ecosystem, there are four functions that are habitat, production, regulatory, and informational. Ecosystem function habitat. Habitat is for everything from animals to the plants and also to human. So these are all habitat. And then production. Production, um, actually it is originally to be consumed by all. However, in this course, we will learn consuming the production that benefiting humans. Alright, there are a few things that we can see in this graph. There are natural resources, there are soil, biodiversity, and water resources. What are the benefits? Benefits is actually a few. The energy resources that give us energy, food security that will help us to to stay alive, and be more productive, and productive economy. Actually, it is to help uh, the economy for certain place, and then the the other materials, okay, that are land management, climate, invasive species, and over exploitation. So these are the benefits and disadvantage of productions that we are facing in the production ecosystem function. Then next one is regulatory. This is the part where you actually regulate your your things. Okay, for example, you need to control um, intake and also release your waste. You must regulate this very well. Okay, how do you do this? For example, a house, you consume food, you consume energy. However, with whatever you take, there must be a waste. Regulating the waste is very important so that we can stay healthy, productive, and also um, help the economy to boost better. And then informational. This is actually benefiting to human, especially in education. And also, so we can learn how to be better in handling and controlling and preserving our nature, our environment, so that this earth can last longer in the future for you and next generation. Human ecosystem interaction. The interaction between human social system and her ecosystem. Martin in 2001 mentioned classified the human social system as follows. There are two types of social system. Number one, complex. Ecosystem and human social system have many parts and many connections between these parts. And there's another system which is adaptive. Adaptive is feedback structures promote survival in a constantly changing environment. So, with these two things, we can learn something important, which is here the type of society that we are living in. These are the characteristics of human social system. There are a few types. Number one, attitude. Number two, behavior. Number three, population size. Next would be social organization. And then wealth. Next would be the value. Next is education. Next is the knowledge. And last but not least, technology. These are the type of society characteristic that we are living in that some of you might be more concerned about a few things compared to the others. So all this is important for us to know, especially in learning environmental science. So as a beginning, the first and beginning topic, I hope you can put in your mind whenever the next classes would be, you must always relate back to this. You can see here there are a few things that you can see quite important within this kind of characteristics. There are um, technology and that also knowledge and then value. These are kind of similar to culture, which is culture and social, and then the environmental, and then the next one is the economy. So with these three components, economy, culture, and social and environment would complete into one core, which is sustainable. Okay, maybe we can talk about that in the next lesson. So that's all for today. Thank you so much. We shall continue to the next lesson soon. Thank you. Bye.